Alright guys, here is another race line video for the Advanced Legends. This is going to be for Thompson Speedway. This is a very simplistic track. Both ends are almost identical. You race them the same. Where you let out and get on the gas is, again, almost identical. The only thing you really have to worry about here at Thompson is the later in a run, you will have to start to trail brake when you go into the corners to prevent sliding up and excessive tire wear. Depending on your setup, you might be able to drive in a little farther than what I'm about to show you. I don't like to brake. I will when I have to, but to brake every corner, every lap, it's just not my style. So take that with a grain of salt. Depending on your setup, you can drive it in a little farther, but you will have to brake. I choose to let out a little earlier, roll a little longer, and get on the throttle without braking until I absolutely have to. So with that being said, just like all the other videos, we're going to start out from the pits. We're going to do an out lap. We'll do 5 race laps, and then we'll come back and talk about it. Okay, there's 5 laps around Thompson. Something else as I was watching this, Thompson is a little different in the aspect of Thompson is a high groove track. If you run the bottom here, you will not go anywhere. You will not make a pass. You will slow down way too much. It is very difficult to pass here, however, it can be done. But I just wanted to point out 99% of the tracks, we go in high, we go in, we go down low, and we come back out. Thompson is not that track. So we just did laps 43 through 48. As you can see, very, very consistent. So here we are. We're going to start out at the start-finish line, approximately 95 miles an hour. The first thing we're going to notice here is as we come up to the corner, the wall angles out. So as we approach the wall, you can see the wheel turning to the right. We're going to turn to the right. We're going to follow it until we get to the end of this little guardrail right here, and we're going to let out. And there we are. Now we're going to look kind of like this hood pin right here. We want to try and keep it along this line where you've got this darker patch versus the lighter patch up here. So when we turn down, again, we're going to try to keep this hood pin along this line, or keep the left side tires along that line. So once we start to let off, we're going to start our turn in. We're going to stay off the throttle until the Budweiser sign comes into our view. And again, you can see the left side tires are following this seam, this tar line, however you want to word it. We're just rolling. Not pushing, we're not scrubbing until we get to the Budweiser sign. Now you can see once it comes into a view, I've started to pick up the throttle. When you pick up the throttle, it is very lightly, it is very casually. It's not just jump on the gas, because you'll never make this exit. You'll come right up into the wall and you will crash. So as we continue, again, we're staying down below this dash, trying to keep our left side tires on this line. And as we start to come out, we can pick up the throttle a little bit. Again, it's not just flat-footed, it's gradual. You want to drive this out of the corner. You don't want to push. You don't want to keep your wheel turned while you're trying to go straight, or while you're trying to exit. When you are under full throttle, you need to get in the habit, like some of the other tracks that we go to, it's almost gas and right. Gas and right. You got to get into that habit. So by about the time we get to the start of the catch fence, we should be flat-footed. And we're going to follow this arc out till we get to this white dash, and then we're just going to come back up to the wall like we would any other track. So we're going to come out to the wall. And this is a long straightaway, so I'm going to speed this up a little bit. Okay. The next reference point is going to be this red painted NASCAR sign on the wall. As soon as the front is even with the start of this NASCAR sign, that's where I let out. And there we are. The nose is coming up to NASCAR. I've let off the throttle. And again, we're going to turn in, just try to stay along that seam, that tar line. Staying completely off the throttle. And we're just going to ride that high line. And again, if you're 25, 30 laps into a race, you might have to trail brake a little bit from the time you let off the throttle until you get down, or you're midway through the corner, to keep the car down. If you're having to turn, and you're just going up towards the wall, you're going in the corner way too fast. So when you feel the front end start to slide, you can do two things. You can trail brake and keep the car down, or you can let out before you get to the NASCAR sign and roll a little farther that way. So those are your two things you got to look for when you're here at Thompson. You got to save your tires, and that's how we're going to do it. So getting back here, left side tires along this line, as you can see. by about the time this building is straight in front of you is where we're going to start to pick up the throttle. Now here in 3 and 4, the painted lines are down a little bit more. So on the exit, again, as we're accelerating out of the corner and straightening the wheel as we go, in 3 and 4, we're going to follow the lines. So from this line right here, you see this little bend right here. That's where we should be about full throttle. And I'm a little late here. But again, this white line and then these other white lines, we're going to just follow them out to the wall. It almost kind of tells you where the car needs to be. We're going to parallel the wall, and again, we're looking for this angle out. So the angle, again, we're going to follow it. So you're going to see the wheel already start to turn right. There it goes. And again, we're looking for this guardrail. When we get to the end of that guardrail, we're going to let out all the way. We're going to turn down. We're going to ride that tar line, that seam. I'm up a little higher than I should be here, but all right, Budweiser came into view. We're starting to pick up the throttle. We're not jamming on it. We're just rolling into it. And we're about full, we are full throttle right here, about X mark between here and the fence. So again, we're going to reference these white lines. We're going to turn out to the wall. We're going to go down this long back stretch. Red NASCAR. When the front of it is equal to NASCAR, we're going to let off. There we are. We're starting to let off. And we're going to turn into the corner. Keeping those left side tires on that line. Just rolling through the corner. Here's the building. Straight on the nose. We're going to be picking up the throttle. Riding that line all the way around. When we get to this line and this little break, it almost kind of comes to a point right here. We're going to follow that out, and that's when we're going to start the exit of our turn. Ride those white lines. They're telling you where you need to be. Back out towards the wall and down to the start-finish line. And that's it. Thompson should be a track that you can pick up relatively quickly. And we're going to pass the start-finish line on a race lap between 92 and 94 miles an hour. So like I was saying, Thompson is not a difficult track. It will be a difficult track later on in a race. You will have to manage your tires more so here than you would another track, say USA, where the tires don't get chewed up as quickly as here. So again, Thompson Speedway, I hope this helps. Please let me know, and we'll put out another video soon.